Hey Dub Nation! Alex here, back with another deep dive into the wild world of NBA offseason rumors surrounding our Golden State Warriors. As we look ahead and figure out how to improve the roster around Steph Curry, the future of Jonathan Kuminga is a major question mark. And guess what? A new report links him to a potential destination that could send some interesting players back our way, including a sharpshooter we've talked about before. Get ready, because the Washington Wizards are reportedly emerging as a potential landing spot for Jonathan Kuminga in a sign-and-trade scenario this summer. And if a deal were to happen with Washington, it could potentially bring back players who address some of our key needs, including talented wing shooter Corey Kispert. Could JK heading to DC pave the way for Kispert to come to the Bay? Let's break it down. So, what's the context here? As we've discussed, Jonathan Kuminga's fit and future with the Warriors are uncertain, especially after his reduced role late in the season. He's heading into restricted free agency, and while the Warriors likely won't let him walk for nothing, a sign-and-trade is looking like a very real possibility if they can't agree on a new contract. The Washington Wizards, on the other hand, are a young team in a rebuilding phase, and they could see Kuminga as a valuable piece to add to their developing core. Here's the impact from the Wizards' perspective. A front court featuring Kuminga alongside young talents like Bilal Coulibaly and potentially top-draft prospect Alexandre Sarr would be incredibly long, athletic, and versatile on both ends of the court. Kuminga fits their timeline and could grow with their other young players. From the Warriors' perspective, the appeal of a sign-and-trade with Washington is that, like Chicago, who we discussed previously, the Wizards have rotation-caliber players they could send back in return for Kuminga. Analyzing what the Warriors could potentially target from Washington, two names pop up immediately: Marcus Smart and Corey Kispert. Marcus Smart, despite recent injury concerns, is a proven elite defender, a gritty competitor, and a willing passer. While a risk, his defensive intensity and playmaking could theoretically fit well alongside Steph and Jimmy Butler, and his willingness to move the ball is a plus. The analysis even draws a parallel to the successful signing of Sean Livingston after his major injury. But the name that might excite Dub Nation more is Corey Kispert. He's a high-level outside shooter, exactly the kind of player the Warriors' offense thrives with. Adding another knockdown shooter like Kispert could provide crucial spacing and a reliable offensive threat off the bench, or even in certain lineups. He has the potential to be a game-changer with his shooting ability. This brings us to a more complex, but potentially very interesting scenario that was floated back in April and involves a three-team trade framework. This hypothetical deal involves the Sacramento Kings and could look something like this. Warriors receive Corey Kispert, Jonas Valanciunas, and a 2031 top 5 protected first-round pick from Washington. Wizards receive Jonathan Kuminga via sign-and-trade and Malik Monk. Kings receive Marcus Smart, Buddy Hield, Sadiq Bey, Trace Jackson Davis, and a 2030 top 20 protected first-round pick from Washington via Golden State. Let's break down what the Warriors would get in this specific scenario. Corey Kispert provides that much-needed high-level shooting. Jonas Valanciunas, while maybe not the most athletic center, is a proven, experienced big man who provides size, rebounding, and scoring in the paint, addressing our need for front-court depth and a traditional center. Getting a future first-round pick back is also valuable. For the Wizards, they land their young wing in Kuminga and add a dynamic scorer in Malik Monk, who would need to be acquired by the Kings first and then sent to Washington in this complex scenario. For the Kings, they get a mix of veteran players and a young big man in TJD, plus a future pick, potentially retooling their roster around their core. Projecting the possible consequences, a trade like this is incredibly complex with three teams involved, making it harder to pull off. However, if the Warriors could land Kispert and Valanciunas, It would immediately address two key needs: shooting and size center depth. Kispert's shooting would be a huge boost to our offense, and Valanciunas would give us a reliable presence in the paint. It would mean parting with Kuminga, but getting back multiple rotation players and a pick could be a solid return in a sign-and-trade scenario, especially if Kuminga is seeking a significant contract elsewhere. The big questions are all three teams willing to make these specific moves? Can the salaries be matched precisely? And is this the best possible return for Kuminga? What do you think about the possibility of the Warriors trading Jonathan Kuminga to the Wizards? And how do you feel about potentially acquiring Corey Kispert and Jonas Valanciunas in a complex three-team deal? Let me know all your thoughts and predictions in the comments section down below. If you're intrigued by these potential off-season moves, make sure you smash that like button. And please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our breaking news, rumors, and analysis. All right, Dub Nation, the Kuminga situation is definitely one to watch, and it could lead to some fascinating moves. It's going to be an interesting offseason. Let's go Warriors! See you next time!